We're talking New England Clam Chowder today. I'm going to show you how I make my clam chowder, and then we're going to taste it up against canned Manhattan clam chowder. Manhattan clam chowder, not a fan, to be honest.
I'm not a huge fan.
It's not for me. It may be for you, it's not for me, but I'll give you my opinion when I taste it. It's been years. I probably had this 3 or 4 times in my entire life. So let's get into this episode. I'm going to show you how I make my clam chowder. So let's get to it. Hey everybody, I'm Dave and you're watching Dave's Taste Buds, and welcome back. Great episode for you today. Gonna show you how I make my clam chowder, my New England clam chowder. Let's get right into it. So, New England clam chowder, it's a staple around here. The winter's coming. You know, there's nothing better than a nice steaming bowl of clam chowder while you're watching some TV. It's snowing outside. Even in the summertime, it's good. I'll eat it all year round. But let's get into it. Pan, hot, making sure we heated it up. Oh, it is hot for sure. First thing, bacon going in. I always like to start with bacon. We're gonna render this down. We're gonna render this down. We're gonna get the fat out. We're gonna use that fat to cook our mirepoix after that. Let's give this a minute to get this cooked down. Now don't be intimidated by all these ingredients. It's not hard to do. It's a little time consuming. There's a little bit of prep that goes into it. But I can tell you the difference in flavor between what I'm about to show you and what comes in a can is, I can't even describe how different it is. This is gonna be so good.
So much better.
And it allows you to make it exactly the way you want. You like, if you less potatoes, if you more potatoes, you don't want to use bacon in yours. You do want to use bacon. It's too salty, it's not. The other thing I've noticed with the canned stuff is when it sits for a while, even in the middle of eating it, it starts to break down. It just gets really liquidy and runny, and it's just not as good. So now that we got our bacon rendered down, I like to add a little bit of butter before I throw in my onions and celery and a little bit of garlic. Put a little butter in there. To start, throw a little onion in there. Now we're just going to cook all these down until they become a little bit translucent. So we're just going to sweat them a little bit. They're going to cook down a little bit more in the soup as the soup simmers. So we're just going to leave this in there for a couple minutes. So that is onions, celery, garlic going in. So we're going to give these a couple minutes.
5 minutes later.
Okay, now that we have our onion, celery, garlic, and bacon all cooked up nice, and a little bit of flour. This is going to help it thicken up later on. It's about 3 tablespoons. Like I said, I'll write it all in the description down below. Another great thing about making your own soups, you make them as thick as you want, make them as thin as you want. It's however you want it. This, 2 cups. It's 1.5 cup of half and half a cup of milk. Again, same thing. You want it to use skim, you want it to use all half and half. That would be up to you. Oh, guys, it looks so good already. Now, I like to use clam juice in my recipe. Some people use chicken stock, chicken broth, something like that. They can use vegetable stock if they want. I want it to taste like clams, so I go with straight clam juice. This clam juice is relatively local. It's from a company called Bar Harbor up in Maine. They also are the ones happen to, I got my cans of diced clams from them too, so. These come off actually like bottle caps. I actually needed a real can opener to get them open. A little surprised. 2 cups clam juice right in there. Give it a quick stir. I can't really shake it because I already opened them, and if I shake it I'll get clam juice all over the place, but they got nice sea salt down the bottom. You're gonna want to make sure you get that in there. Yep, there we go. Looking good. Just gonna give this a quick stir. We are well on our way. Next in, potatoes. Now, just a little tip about potatoes. I thought I did it quick enough. If you're gonna dice up potatoes, if you're not gonna use them right away, keep them in cold water, because if you don't, they immediately start to oxidize. They start to turn a little bit brown. Potatoes going in. This is 2 russet potatoes. I like to use russet. You can also use Yukon Gold. You could even use a Red Bliss if you wanted to, but I like the amount of starch that the russet potato has. That's gonna also give it a little bit more thickening agent. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna bring this up to a simmer. We're gonna let this simmer a really, really slow roll simmer. Last thing you wanna do is scorch this. Anything with dairy, any cream soup, once you scorch it, it's done. As soon as you taste that it's burnt, it's done. There's no coming back from it. So when you simmer it, just keep a close eye on it. Don't just crank the heat up and walk away and be like, oh, it'll be fine. It won't be fine, it'll burn and you'll be screwed. So you know what, I almost forgot why this is simmering. Just a couple of bay leaves. Just gives it a little bit nice aromatic, so drop those right in there. Before we add any salt and pepper, we're gonna let it simmer a little bit, let it thicken up a little bit, and then we'll taste it. Then you just put in, salt and pepper to how you like it. Throw a little clam on top, you're good to go. So, all right, we are so close. The potatoes are just about there. It's simmering perfectly. We're gonna give this one more minute, and while we wait for that minute, do me a favor, help me out, help out the algorithm, click that like button, certainly hit that subscribe button. And if you make chowder a different way, I wanna know about it. Something you have about, the way I do it, let me know in the comments below. Comment below, like, certainly subscribe. So now, it's been simmering probably about 5 minutes. I tested the potatoes are absolutely perfect. And that's the key. When the potatoes are done, that's when you know it's done. So we got our potatoes, we got everything in there just right. We're so close.
Let's try that again.
Canned clams. Now, I thought they came originally, when I first did it, I thought they came already chopped up. They don't. They're literally like whole clams. So you gotta drain that clam juice out of there, chop them up nice. Again, the clams are from the same company. It's called Bar Harbor in Maine. It's actually really good. Try to stay as local as we can. You can also, grab some clams from the supermarket, especially if they're in season. Get some quahogs, get some little necks, whatever kind of clams you like to use. You can cook those down and chop them up. Just really wanted to keep this simple for everybody, guys. It is looking so good. What we're just gonna hit it with a little pepper. If you wanna add more, you can. With any ingredient, guys, listen to me when I tell you this, you can always add more, you cannot add less. Once it's in there, it's in there. So that's why I always like to get stuff a little bit at a time in there, taste it, make sure it's just right. This is turning out to be a thick, hearty, really nice looking clam chowder. And I think we are just about there. Before we do anything, I just want to taste it, make sure we get enough salt and pepper on there. We're there. Tasting spoons, oh my God. Have plenty of spoons, have plastic spoons while you cook if you're gonna taste stuff. Don't taste it and stick that spoon back in there because it is disgusting. So don't do that. So I'm gonna cut off the heat. I'm gonna get everything set up. We're gonna do some side by side with our Progresso and see how that goes. All right, so now it's time for my favorite part. I'm gonna test these. I'm gonna start with the Manhattan clam chowder because quite frankly, I don't want this taste hanging around in my mouth any longer than I have to. So we're gonna start with this. It just looks very, processed. I don't know, it's just not my thing. And quite frankly, I don't see a lot of clams in here either where ours is loaded. So let's check out the flavor. Oh, son of a bitch, look at that, dropping all over my counter. I hope this didn't get in my good stuff. Yeah, tastes very, very much like it came out of a can. And quite frankly, ours is, all fresh ingredients. You got your milk, vegetables, cream, clams, a little bit of flour, you get some bacon in there. This has some natural ingredients, but it also has a lot of things like modified food starch, soybean oil, potassium chloride, sodium phosphate, natural flavors, yeast extract.
What?
You just don't want all that stuff if you don't have to. So, make your own. Speaking of our own, New England Clam Chowder is not New England Clam Chowder until you top it with some oyster crackers. So we're gonna throw a couple of those in there. Give it a little texture. Oh, I can tell you. If I can get some nice B-roll of this so we can take a look at what this looks like up close. Go. So good. Clam, couple potatoes on here, oyster cracker. Oh. Guys, it's so good. It's exactly what I wanted. You can taste the clams, you can taste the freshness, the potatoes are cooked perfectly. You can do this, and before you do this, check out this other video I have up here. I got another good video over here. I got a subscribe button somewhere in this area right in through here. Comment below, check out my other videos, and once you're done doing all of that, go cook something.